Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The NFL offseason never fails to surprise us, but few saw this blockbuster coming. The Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers pulled off a jaw-dropping trade that instantly sent shockwaves across the league. Jalen Ramsey, already a superstar in his own right, is now paired once again with the Dolphins, while the return of All-Pro safety Minkah Fitzpatrick has dominated headlines in South Florida. And let's not forget tight end Jonnu Smith, another piece of this multi-layered deal, which also included several draft picks swapping hands. Now, with training camp underway, all eyes are on Fitzpatrick as he walks back into the very franchise that drafted him back in 2018. It's a homecoming, with a bit of drama, a dash of nostalgia, and a whole lot of promise. Coach Mike McDaniel finally broke his silence, and his words about Minkah made it clear this reunion isn't just emotional, it's strategic. And it's going to be electric. Minkah Fitzpatrick was once the future of the Dolphins' defense, a first-round pick with all the pedigree and promise you'd expect from a standout Alabama product. But things didn't pan out smoothly the first time around. After just over a year in Miami, Fitzpatrick was traded to Pittsburgh, where he flourished into one of the most respected and consistent safeties in the league. 5 Pro Bowl appearances and 3 All-Pro selections later, he's back in aqua and orange. The difference now, a more stable coaching staff, a revamped roster, and a clearer vision of what the Dolphins want to be. When Mike McDaniel addressed the media for the first time since the trade, his excitement was unmistakable. He didn't just welcome Fitzpatrick back. He detailed how his presence aligns perfectly with the culture and identity Miami is building. From leadership to playmaking, Fitzpatrick checks every box. And this time, the franchise is ready to maximize his potential. "We are elated to have Minkah on the team," said McDaniel, his voice filled with enthusiasm. "He's a real good fit based on his skill set, athletically, and what he's able to do in transition. In the open field, elite ball skills and leadership, these aren't just complimentary words. They're a blueprint for how Fitzpatrick will be deployed in Miami's secondary." McDaniel talked about the natural chemistry Fitzpatrick already has with the rest of the roster, noting how quickly he embraced the return by slipping into jersey number 29 like he never left. With several former Alabama teammates on the Dolphins roster, the transition should be smooth. But beyond comfort, it's about expectation. Fitzpatrick is no longer the young buck trying to prove himself. He's the seasoned vet, the tone setter. And McDaniel believes his calm, calculated demeanor will be crucial in mentoring Miami's younger defensive backs. This isn't just a talent acquisition, it's a leadership investment. The Dolphins' secondary is loaded with potential but lacks big game experience outside of stars like Jalen Ramsey. With Ramsey now sidelined to start the season, Minkah Fitzpatrick's arrival becomes even more significant. He brings not only talent, but also a calming presence that can anchor the unit during adversity. Younger players like Cam Smith and Jevon Holland are brimming with upside, but there's nothing quite like having a seasoned All-Pro beside you to guide the way. McDaniel emphasized that Fitzpatrick doesn't need to be the loudest guy in the room to command respect. His style of leadership is more about actions than words. That kind of influence is contagious. It spreads throughout a locker room, especially when it comes from someone who's walked the walk. The Dolphins need that as they transition into a team with playoff and possibly Super Bowl aspiration. Fitzpatrick isn't just filling a roster spot. He's redefining the standard. That standard is something quarterback Tua Tagovailoa knows all too well. The pair overlapped at Alabama, with Tua just entering the program as a freshman, while Fitzpatrick was already the established alpha. Tagovailoa recalled how even then, Fitzpatrick set the bar high, not through speeches or theatrics, but through relentless effort and unwavering discipline. "I have a lot of good things to say about him," Tua told reporters, reflecting on the college days. "He gets off sort of the standard. Like, if there's a standard, then there's someone you can look at and say, that's the standard." It's the kind of impact that transcends stats or game tape. Fitzpatrick inspired teammates simply by being himself, and now, years later, that same presence will be felt in a Dolphins locker room that's hungry to take the next step. Tua's endorsement isn't just friendly banter. It's a message that Fitzpatrick's return matters on every level. The bond between Tua and Fitzpatrick might not be the most talked about storyline, but it's a quietly powerful one. Tua shared a memory from their Alabama days that stuck with Mike McDaniel. A moment that perfectly captured Fitzpatrick's character during a grueling conditioning session. When everyone was drained, it was Fitzpatrick who rallied the team. No cameras, no media, just grit. "Who's this psychopath? I fear him," Tua jokingly said about his first impression. That comment, relayed by McDaniel with a smile, shows the type of leader Minkah is. He doesn't need to yell or dominate a room. His commitment speaks louder than words. These behind-the-scenes moments often say more than any press conference ever could. It's these intangibles, the fierce competitiveness, the willingness to lead through discomfort, that make Fitzpatrick such a valuable piece. For this Dolphins team, he's more than a player. He's a culture builder, and make no mistake, culture is everything in Miami right now under McDaniel. The Dolphins are undergoing a transformation. The flashy plays and highlight reels are fun, but sustainable success comes from accountability, preparation, and trust. Fitzpatrick brings all of that in spades. He's been through wars in Pittsburgh, played in high-pressure playoff games, and earned the respect of peers across the league. That experience is gold for a young Dolphins team that's tasted the postseason, but still seeks consistency. Training camp is the perfect crucible for all of this to come together. Early reports say Fitzpatrick is already making his presence felt, coaching younger players, mastering the playbook, and showing exactly why the Dolphins moved mountains to bring him back. This is not a nostalgia tour. This is about winning now. And Minkah Fitzpatrick might just be the missing piece to unlock this defense's true potential. Jonnu Smith's arrival has also added intrigue, but it's clear that Fitzpatrick is the crown jewel of this deal from Miami's perspective. While Smith offers versatility as a pass-catching tight end and red zone threat, Fitzpatrick impacts every down. Whether it's diagnosing a play pre-snap, closing a passing lane in the blink of an eye, or delivering a momentum-shifting hit, his presence changes the calculus for opposing quarterbacks. And for defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver, Fitzpatrick is a chess piece he didn't have before. His versatility allows the Dolphins to disguise coverages, rotate safeties, and apply more pressure with confidence that the back end is locked down. It's rare to find a player who upgrades your scheme in your locker room at the same time. But Fitzpatrick does exactly that, and he does it without demanding attention or accolades. He's just wired differently, and that's exactly what the Dolphins need now. Expectations will be sky high, and that pressure is something Fitzpatrick knows all too well. But as McDaniel made clear, this team isn't worried. They're ready, and Fitzpatrick is a big reason why. The Dolphins now boast a defense with playmakers at every level, a maturing offense led by a quarterback growing in confidence, and a head coach who clearly has his finger on the pulse of the locker room. This isn't a team that's hoping to compete, it's a team that expects to win. And adding a player like Fitzpatrick sends a loud message. Miami is all in. There will be bumps, and there will be challenges. There always are, but few teams can say they added an all-pro without sacrificing their identity. The Dolphins just did. And with training camp in full swing, the pieces are finally starting to click into place. This season could be special, and Fitzpatrick might just be the key. So as the pads start popping and the heat of camp intensifies, the spotlight will follow Minkah Fitzpatrick, not because he demands it, but because he earns it. From that first conditioning session in Tuscaloosa to the roar of Hard Rock Stadium, his journey has been one of resolve, growth, and purpose. Mike McDaniel believes in him. Tua respects him. The fans are ready to embrace him. And now, with a full training camp to integrate into the defense and build chemistry, Fitzpatrick has the chance to write a new chapter in Miami, one built not on what could have been, but what will be. If the Dolphins are going to contend in a stacked AFC, they'll need leadership, consistency, and game-changing plays. And Minkah Fitzpatrick, they've got all three. And judging by the energy around this team right now, they know exactly what they have. Let the season begin. Miami's ready. Minkah's home, still with us. Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world has been rocked by what could become one of the biggest controversies of the year, as whispers grow loud around TYREEK Hill, the Miami Dolphins superstar wide receiver. While nothing has been officially confirmed by the league, multiple sources close to the situation are suggesting that Hill has been flagged in a routine drug test and may be facing a suspension due to a doping violation. The news still swirling in the realm of speculation is sending shockwaves through fans, analysts, and insiders alike. What makes this rumor particularly explosive is the timing, just weeks before the Dolphins were set to begin training camp with one of the most promising rosters they've assembled in recent years. Hill, known for his blazing speed and electric playmaking ability, has been a cornerstone of Miami's offensive resurgence. If the rumors prove to be true, the ripple effects could be devastating, not just for Hill but for the entire Dolphins organization. Tyreek Hill has always been a polarizing figure in the NFL, revered for his unmatched athleticism and game-breaking speed, but also shadowed by off-field controversies that have followed him since his early days in the league. Now this alleged doping incident could add yet another complex layer to his already complicated legacy. According to unconfirmed reports, the test in question was conducted during the Dolphins' off-season program, with results allegedly indicating the presence of a banned substance. Insiders say the substance isn't a common stimulant or accidental trace element, but rather something more serious, possibly tied to performance enhancement. If proven accurate, Hill could be facing a significant suspension, potentially ranging from 6 games to a full season, depending on the outcome of the investigation. This wouldn't just be a hit to Hill's career. It could dramatically shift the trajectory of the Dolphins' entire 2025 campaign, which had high expectations under head coach Mike McDaniel. Sources close to the league office suggest that the NFL's disciplinary committee is already reviewing the case behind closed doors, with a decision expected within the next couple of weeks, though the NFL has a strict confidentiality policy regarding player testing and violations. Leaks have started to trickle into the media, fueling speculation across sports platforms and social media. Fans are divided. Some believe it's all just smoke, a distraction designed to stir controversy around one of the league's most exciting players, while others fear there's substance behind the whispers. If the suspension does go through, this could be one of the highest-profile doping cases in recent memory. Comparisons are already being made to other fallen stars who face similar fates, but this one stings more for Dolphins fans who saw Hill as a symbol of their return to prominence. With a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa relying heavily on Hill's deep threat ability, the offense would undoubtedly take a massive hit. There's also the financial aspect of all this, which cannot be ignored. Tyreek Hill signed a massive 4-year, $120 million extension with the Dolphins after being traded from the Kansas City Chiefs, making him one of the highest-paid wide receivers in NFL history. A suspension of this magnitude could impact not only his salary, but also lead to possible restructuring of his contract or worse, legal disputes between the team and the player. The Dolphins, already operating close to the salary cap, would find themselves in a difficult position, trying to replace Hill's production on the field without completely unraveling their financial blueprint. Internal sources within the organization, while tight-lipped, are reportedly preparing for all scenarios, including a temporary replacement plan and a longer-term contingency if the situation escalates. The front office is walking on eggshells, knowing that a mishandled response could invite even more scrutiny and chaos at a time when stability is crucial. What's especially baffling to fans and insiders alike is the motivation. Why would a player of Tyreek Hill's caliber, already performing at an elite level, feel the need to resort to banned substances? Some speculate that it could be related to injury recovery or maintaining peak performance as he approaches the later years of his career. Others wonder if this might be a misunderstanding or even a case of a tainted supplement, something not uncommon in the sports world. Either way, the implications are enormous. Hill's reputation, carefully rebuilt since his earlier controversies, could take a fatal hit. This incident, if verified, would give critics more ammunition and might permanently stain his legacy. For someone who has spent the last few years trying to redefine himself both on and off the field, this is the kind of development that can undo years of effort in a matter of days. And in the court of public opinion, perception often becomes reality faster than facts are confirmed. The timing of the alleged violation couldn't be worse for the Dolphins, with the 2025 season shaping up to be one of the most competitive in recent memory, especially in the stacked AFC. The margin for error is razor thin. Miami was projected to contend for the division title and possibly even make a deep playoff run. But without Hill, who accounted for over 1,700 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns last season, those hopes could quickly deflate. His absence would put immense pressure on the remaining wide receiver cores, including Jalen Waddle and the recently acquired veterans. But let's be honest, there's only one Tyreek Hill. His rare combination of speed, agility, and field vision is irreplaceable. Analysts are already speculating on how offensive coordinator Frank Smith might have to overhaul the playbook if Hill is out. The Dolphins would likely need to pivot to a more conservative run-heavy scheme or gamble on unproven talent stepping up in a massive way. Meanwhile, other teams across the league are watching the situation closely. A player of Hill's stature doesn't just affect one team. He alters the competitive landscape of the entire NFL. Divisional rivals like the Buffalo Bills and New York Jets might quietly be celebrating the news behind closed doors, knowing that Hill's absence could tilt the scales in their favor. Fantasy football communities are also in disarray, with early drafters already scrambling to adjust their rankings and projections. For Vegas oddsmakers, the potential suspension is a nightmare scenario, forcing rapid adjustments to betting lines and futures predictions. The media frenzy is only just beginning, and if history tells us anything, it's that stories like these tend to snowball rapidly. Interviews, speculations, counter-rumors, they'll all be in play as this saga unfolds. And until the NFL makes an official announcement, the entire sports world will be holding its breath, waiting for clarity in a cloud of confusion. TYREEK Hill himself has yet to release a public statement, which only adds to the mystery. Some insiders claim he's consulting with legal and medical advisors before addressing the media, while others say he's planning to fight the allegations tooth and nail. If Hill does challenge the results, it could trigger a lengthy appeal process, dragging the story well into the regular season. That uncertainty could be the worst-case scenario for the Dolphins, playing week to week not knowing if their top receiver will be eligible. There's also the psychological toll to consider. Locker rooms are fragile ecosystems, and a distraction of this magnitude can fracture team chemistry. Coach McDaniel will have his work cut out for him, managing not just X and O's, but also emotions, morale, and media pressure. If anyone can navigate this storm, it's McDaniel, but make no mistake, this could be the defining challenge of his coaching tenure so far. This wouldn't be the first time the NFL has had to grapple with a doping scandal involving a high-profile player, but it might be one of the most impactful in recent memory. Due to Hill's stature and timing, the league has worked hard to clean up its image, especially around substance abuse and performance enhancement. So if Hill is indeed found guilty, expect the NFL to make an example out of him. They'll want to send a message that no one, no matter how fast or famous, is above the rules. But until then, fans are left to parse cryptic tweets, insider leaks, and unconfirmed reports. Sports radio and YouTube channels are flooded with theories, some reasonable, others wild. Could this be a misunderstanding, a smear campaign, or is it simply the truth coming to light in an era where narratives often outpace facts? Hill's silence is speaking volumes. The court of public opinion has already begun its deliberations. At the end of the day, whether TYREEK Hill is cleared or condemned, this situation serves as a sobering reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the NFL. One moment you're on top of the world, electrifying stadiums with every touch, the next you're caught in a whirlwind of rumors, tests, and tribunals. The Dolphins, once seen as a rising power in the AFC, now find themselves at a crossroads. And everything hinges on the outcome of this unfolding drama. If Hill is suspended, the team must adapt both strategically and emotionally. If he's cleared, the cloud of doubt may still linger for months, casting a shadow over whatever success follows. Fans will continue to speculate, media will dissect every detail, and rivals will strategize accordingly. For now, all we can do is wait. But make no mistake, the TYREEK Hill doping saga, whether rumor or reality, has already reshaped the narrative of the 2025 NFL season before a single snap has been played. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.